Kwe Wabamakwikwendas Nakas Muegan Dodam. My spirit name is White Polar Bear Woman. I am from the Wolf Clan. This was gifted to me through ceremonies. The clan system of the Anishinaabe people is about roles and responsibilities to the people, to the land, to the animals. We all had roles on what to do when it comes to certain things that would take place on the territory. As for the wolf clans, we are very always at the front lines, and we are very loud like the wolf. So our teachings are very all land-based itself. I am Algonquin Anishinaabe. If I say I am Algonquin, I don't know what that means because it does not exist in my language. However, when I say I am a Dishkwagami Anishinaabe, then it explains who I am and who my people are as people that live by the lakes and rivers. Our people are migratory people. We moved around according to the seasons, and we went to different places where to find food, fish, or to hunt kashagnaga, which like the moose and deers and so on, depending what we needed, and also what the animal can provide us, because we also use the bones, we use the furs and everything for us to sustain ourselves, and this is our sovereignty. This is has always been our way of life. But since colonization has settled here on our territories, it affected our way of life, where we were forced to live everything according to how Canada wanted us to live, how they wanted the Indian to act, basically. So we were put to schools, residential schools, then they had the Indian Day schools, the 60 schools, everything was to erase the Indian of who we are. If they erased the language, they erase the sovereignty that we have as people. So now that our people are very colonized, we can read and write and everything, but we still have languages today. We have land-based camps, we have culture camps and everything going on everywhere within the territory, and not just within our nation, but different nations as well. And that's not something that can be easily taken away from our peoples. The first wars that happened here on the territory, it was about furs and the land grabs, the French and the English, they sparked the war between each other because they wanted to have that control over the land and be able to have it, and that involved our nation to go to war with them. So when you look at the internet and you look at the wars of 1800s and so on, 1700s, then you'll see that 10-year war where it talks about the Anishinaabe Confederacy that once existed. And we stood together with the French and we fought with them, even though those wars kind of lost, but it lost more of our nations of people as well. The Anishinaabe Algonquin people were very many at that time, but because of those wars, we lost probably like thousands and thousands of people because of those wars. And so in order to end that first war, our people, with their knowledge and ceremonies, they came together to make wampum belts like this. This belt here was supposed to be the way of life we were living today, but it's not how it is yet. This talks about how the white man was supposed to live on his own way of life. He would educate his own kids and have their own way of life, as long as they don't do anything to affect the indigenous people that are living their own way of life. So we could have been able to have schools that are like for us to keep maintaining the language, maintaining the culture and identity that we have. But nowadays it just looks like this, where we're all in that one row, but we are remembering things. We are having we have ways of how to bring back all these things that we nearly lost, like our governance, like the Pike teachings, and all these different things like the clan system and everything. These are the things that are so important to support today, throughout everywhere that's where it's taking place. And the reason why our ancestors had made these was because when the settlers arrived, they saw them, digging in the hole, digging holes here and there, and this is where they're trying to find gold and all these different things, which they looked at it as resources. And then they saw them cutting a whole bunch of trees to make their first homes and things like that. And then with that observance that they have of them, in that time when they made the first peace, like the Treaty of Niagara, they call, a lot of belts came from that. And so our nation had belts as well, where I just want to quickly show that the most important one, where they had the three figures of the French, the English, and the Anishinaabe holding hands with a cross, where they said that they were going to swear that they would follow the agreement that was given. This one. The French, the Anishinaabe, and the English, and the sworn promise. So they used the church cross as a way to swear that this agreement will be what it is. And that agreement was, do not dig more than 3 feet deep, and do not cut more than one kind of tree. As long as the sun shines, the leaves fall, the rivers flow, and so on, that this would be what. So they felt to kind of like honor that agreement that was made thousands of years ago, because now we are facing climate issues all over. And a lot of these wars that are going on right now, today the wars are about waters. This is what our knowledge keepers say, that the wars are all about the water, because there's the pipelines, there's the mining, and there's also a lot of deforestation and damming, because damming has long-term effects on our waters as well, where today people need clean drinking water, and that's not even being taken care of as a priority. So these were the set of rules by our ancestors. They gave to the settlers. It was a guide. It was a way of life, a set of rules of what it is to live here. And a lot of all these different belts that were made back then were a record of history. This is how we wrote back then. A lot of the things that we do is oral, and it was done through beatings and such like that. This is how we communicated. But nowadays we can read and write, and we can use phones and everything. So there comes a time where a lot of those belts, they will have to be redone in order to bring peace. And today's issues that is very big within our territories are the underground extractions, the deforestations, and the Indian Act, because the Indian Act is where it becomes like a gatekeeping for corporations to go in and be able to get access of the water, the land, everything that they see as resources. And when our people begin to see and speak to the land like it's a resource, then they lose that connection that they have of what is life to us. So we always say like it's water. These are animals. These are, living things. When we acknowledge it as a living things, then we rebuild that connection that is needed. And it's just so important to have that connection with the land. This talks about the land itself. It's about like how we're going to take care of the animals, the food that we eat, from berries to traditional medicines and everything. All this needs to be redone all over again. So that's what I wanted to share, a little bit of that very briefly. Again, welcome to an Anishinaabe Algonquin territory, and have yourself a really good conference. World peace, that is what I would like to see myself. And Chimigach for having me here.